I took this picture on January 24th, 1997. It was my biggest job of my career at that time. I was hired by Puffy, the notorious Puffy, who was awful, and I hated him, and it was a miserable experience. He's so obnoxious and unbelievably rude, and didn't look me in the eye, and wouldn't talk to me, call me by my name or anything. And I had spent a lot of time with him. I had worked with him in the past, and the deal with this job was that he wanted to shoot. It was a big job. We had 2 days, which was longer than normal. Usually it's a one-day job, and we had to do a mansion and the streets, and we needed a graveyard. And he was like, "I need a good graveyard." So in the old days, we would hire a location scout, and he would go take a bunch of photos and then have them printed and stick them in a book that would open up like a location file. And I remember taking the graveyards up to see Puffy at the office, and he was like, "No, this graveyard sucks. These are terrible. Give me another graveyard." And we're like, "The shoot's tomorrow." And I remembered that there was these other graveyards up by the airport, and I was like, "David Appleson, the scout, can you just get over there and find me a better graveyard?" I don't know exactly what that meant, but get me a better graveyard. So, yes, we found the graveyard at the last second. We booked the job. I think it actually had to get pushed today. So we have this big shoot with lots of gear. I had 4 assistants, my biggest job ever. I lived on Fifth Avenue. I had a studio on Fifth Avenue. It was like 3,000 square feet for $2,500 a month on Fifth Avenue. Good deal. But, so anyways, we were loading the gear in. I think Ed Smith was one of the assistants, and we get to the graveyard was first, and we arrived. There's a hearse, and we had a smoke machine, and we started right in with the hearse, and Biggie, who was very nice and actually was really very polite and spoke softly and with a nice, like with a soft handshake, and I remember Puffy like just yelling at Groovy Lou. Groovy Lou was the stylist that day. And Groovy Lou was like 6'5", Rasta guy, the nicest guy in the world that just says blessed all the time. And Puffy was just yelling at him about the buttons on the jacket, and I was just like, oh yeah. And so anyways, I'm taking the pictures of him in front of this hearse, and I say to Karen Pearson, my other assistant, hand me the 37. I need the 37 now, which is a wide-angle fisheye lens, which I used to use all the time. And she's in the van, and she's looking around, and she can't find it. I'm like, "Where's the 37? And she's like, "It's not here." I said, "Well, where is it? I need it right now." She's like, "The whole bag, the rental bag is not here. It's missing." So I just went like, and I thought I was going to throw up, because I was like a huge bag filled with 4 different cameras that I didn't own and I was like, "Give me another camera," because I couldn't stop. I had to keep taking the photograph. And I worked through that without throwing up. We got the shot in front of the hearse, and then we were running around taking pictures in different parts of the graveyard, and there really is just not that much difference in the graveyards. It's just like there's these tombstones, and Puffy would get in the picture, and I'm like, the only manager ever to have to be in the picture with the artist. It was so obnoxious. But so after a while, we were driving. At one point, I actually was able to. I mean, the graveyard is huge. I don't know if you've ever been to this. Is at the Cypress Hill graveyard, and you can drive by it when you go to Kennedy, and it's just it seems like miles of dead people everywhere. And at one point, I was actually, Puffy and Biggie got into my Ford Explorer, and we were just trying to drive to a little bit farther away, and I had a CD in the player, and it was Elvis, and Elvis came on, and Puffy was like, "What the fuck, you listen to Elvis?" And Biggie said, "Yo, man, Elvis is cool." Like, what's wrong with Elvis? So I ran around and I was desperate for something else to try to make something happen. And I just, at one point, I went off, I think during lunch, and found the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers area, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. So I run back down there, and I'm like, Puffy, we got to do this. He's like, what? What are you talking about? I work here. And I was like, no, you got to trust me on this. This is the shot. We got to go up there. And he's like, basically said, all right, because he kind of knew that we were done with all the other, the same kind of gravestone. So we drive up, and it's pretty far away, and he has like a posse of like 7 SUVs, like just in a line in a caravan, like smoke billowing out of the windows. And we pull up to the area, and Biggie gets out, and he can barely walk. He has a cane. He's like walks really like an old man, and just hobbled in front. I said, just stand there. And I knew this image in my mind, just the long lens with the in the distance, the infinity look, and that picture happened, and I was just like, wow, I knew it then it was going to be good. I could tell. And it is probably one of my most favorite photos that I've ever done. And I was just kind of amazed at the fact that he died like 6 weeks after this picture was taken. And this is a very powerful image. And it's a very sad image, really. But we had a good time on the shoot. I did survive. It cost me basically my whole fee to pay for the insurance because I didn't have the proper insurance. And the pictures would have been so much better. I'd had a Noblex and a Wislox and this 37 and some other cameras that were all stolen. And then we went to Bed-Stuy right after this, and it was like, I know, deep in the heart of the ghetto, it seemed like to me, and there was hundreds of kids lined outside at night, and I was taking pictures, and I was like, wow, this is so cool, where am I? I've never been here. And then I ended up moving, right down the street from there. Just recently. Oh, that's so funny. So, yeah, that's that story on that picture.